Welcome to another episode of Roll for Crit Expansions. I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes.
And what are we looking at today?
That would be Smash Up's expansion, the Obligatory Cthulhu set.
Now, this was their second expansion out of their, depending on where you watch this, there'll be more. Yes, that is Smash Up. And if you haven't guessed, it's all about Cthulhu and Lovecraftian lore.
And of course, it's appropriate because every board game in existence needs to have a Cthulhu version.
And zombies, but zombies are in the base set, so...
Right.
Now, before we begin, unlike every other Smash Up, where it's just the groups and bases, the Cthulhu set came with an extra rule, and in order for us to explain the expansion, we have to go over the new rule.
Right. More than a rule, it's an entire deck.
Right. It is madness. We'll be showing, by the way, these nice cards. These are from the Big Geeky box.
The dividers.
Yes, so they do not come in this set. I believe starting with Pretty, in which their sets come with it. So Madness reads simply, draw 2 cards or return this card to the Madness deck. Throughout the game, using these cards only so far, or as of this recording, these factions, you can maybe giving yourself or other players Madness cards. They are just like any other action, which do what I said and work like actions. However, once the game ends, everyone has to count the number of Madness cards in their hand, deck, and discard pile, pretty much the number you've collected. And you lose 1 victory point for every 2 you have. So let's say, Jonathan, you hit 15 points.
Yeah, I win!
So usually that means the game ends, or someone got past 15. Let's say you got 17, someone got 16, whatever the case may be. 15 hits and the game ends. Once all it's done counting, let's say John had a lot of Madness cards. He could still lose the game, because he had too many Madness cards.
Yeah, so it adds a whole other issue of something else you got to look out for quite a bit.
Yeah, so
as you're playing, and it can be a little frustrating.
Oh, well, in particular is one, but we'll get there.
So if you want to talk about the you want to go. It's better to delve into it on a case-by-case basis.
Yes, I think so,
Okay.
because each one uses Madness in a different way.
So where are we going to start?
Well, I think we start with the humans.
Okay.
This is Miskatonic University. These are the students, teachers who work at Miskatonic University. If you don't know
Good
Lovecraftian lore, that's sort of the big...
It's a university.
Yes, so where a lot of stuff goes down. First of all, a lot of these cards are Scooby-Doo references.
Yes, the titles.
There's like Old Man Jenkins,
the meddling kids,
so
like
on and so
that,
forth,
yeah.
and all the characters except for Scooby, which you've noticed, look like the librarian looks like Velma.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can look through, you can see the characters. Their whole shtick is they're trying to for the sake of knowledge, they draw their own Madness cards, which, from my opinion, hasn't been. They don't like. It's not as worth it compared to some of the other ones, which we'll get to.
It's weird because usually you kind of want to get rid of Madness, but sometimes there are uses for them.
They have ways to get rid of them. Like they have.
Right.
Well, like the librarian, the one we talked about before, is discard a Madness card to draw a card, so you can cycle through it without.
Right, but their primary minion is, I forget which one it is. It's like a 2-coster, right?
Oh yeah,
and it always says you may draw a Madness card.
When you play it.
Researcher.
Because a lot of the cards say if you can draw a Madness card, or if you discard a Madness card, something happens.
Right. So it's definitely. I feel like it's a good. I feel like both that and the Innsmouth, which we'll get to next, I guess.
Right. Oh no.
Are good. Are like responses to the people who are probably going to be throwing Madness cards at you.
Right.
So we'll get to that. Yeah.
Let's go with the next one, which is the.
So Innsmouth or Innsmouth or however you want to say it.
Why don't you tell us what Innsmouth actually is?
Well, I think these are actually my favorite ones. The big thing with them is they have this card called the Locals. It's their big minion. It's only
It's their little minion. It's their median minion. It's their only minion.
Right. But there are a lot of them in the deck. And there are other cards that will say, oh, draw the top 3 cards, and anyone that are minions you get to take, or that are Locals. So it's all about storming and multiplying, sort of like
minions of the same name,
sort of like robots, but much more focused.
I would have to say, out of all the sets, this is the best one in terms of playing with outside sets.
This specific team?
Yes, the Innsmouth. I think it's also the most unique. It's the most interesting. And I remember when I first saw them, like, you're stuck with all these 2-1s. They're terrible. By the way, all the Locals say reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Then put all Locals in your hand. So pretty much you can just keep drawing every time you play them.
Yeah.
After seeing you play with them and playing with myself, they're a lot of fun. And you'd think like, oh, because they're the only group that has the same name, other groups won't mix with them well. Right. No, they work really well. Like when you play with dinosaurs and you can get those war raptors out really fast because you can get all the same name.
Yeah, that can
or
come
the
in
plants.
handy.
Like it turns out they're really good. So they are definitely, I think, they're definitely my favorite group in terms of mixing outside. I wouldn't say favorite for one reason, but
okay, yeah, no, I'm definitely with you on mixing. That's awesome. For me,
they also have I think the least reliance on madness cards.
Yes, that's definitely true. I just hate making decisions, so I love. There's one strategy with this deck: get more locals.
Oh, by the way, the whole reason they're all the same. The idea Innsmouth is that it's a town, but they're like people have like. I don't know if it's either their descendants or something, but they're actually fish people.
Right. I like them as a thematic concept too. I think that's a lot of fun as opposed to just the monsters and stuff. I like the other Miskatonic. No. It's okay, but I don't know.
Like, I mean, it can be like any of the sets that you can be a little bit annoying with certain cards. It doesn't help you at all. Like that can happen to anyone.
Sure.
So. But overall, this is definitely, I think, one of the better cards from this set. We're gonna go. Next up,
this back up.
Right, is Minions of Cthulhu. And if you haven't guessed, this involves Cthulhu.
Oh.
He actually is not a card in here. There is, I think,
there's something.
There's one. This
kind of.
There's
like
this. It's an action. I'm not even gonna try to say it. Yeah,
right.
Because Cthulhu's a god, it'd be no fair.
Right.
Their whole thing. It's similar to Miskatonic in the sense that you draw your own madness to do things, but it does more. Like it's draw madness, then kill something.
Right.
Like or draw, and then with their big guy, the Star Spawn. I'm not going to try to search through. There's no reason. He has a talent which give madness to other players, so you can get rid of them after you draw them.
Yeah, this is definitely where it starts to get more sinister.
Right. Well, their big thing, I think, compared to Miskatonic is a lot of their thing is more drawing and stuff. Mm-hmm. Theirs is their actions. Like they'll be like, get 2 more actions and get this. So I think what makes them better than this is they can rely on themselves. So you don't have to worry as much what your second smash up set is.
Right. And
so they are very strong.
Our final one
is my favorite because I think it's definitely, in our opinion of all the times we played, the strongest smash up group.
Yeah, it's your favorite because it's overpowered.
Oh, because I've also gotten it. I'm always the one to get it, and the way we usually do is random.
Yeah.
It's like a random draw, and I just happen to always get
right.
it. This is the Elder Things. And their whole thing, the thing I think that really makes them really annoying and strong, is it similar to the other two, but instead of you should draw a madness card to do something special, it's if you give a madness card to someone, make them draw a madness card, you get something special.
You're throwing them out all over the place.
Yes, and it is like my favorite. They have a card. The Migo is each player can choose to draw a madness card. If they don't, you draw a card. So you force everyone to either water down their deck.
That's the best in any game when it's like, would you like to do something bad to you or something good for me?
Yeah.
Either way, I'm happy.
And I think it's just such a devastating set.
It really
I think
is.
we've officially decided we're not allowing it most usually.
Or you understand everyone will hate you.
Yes, and I'm fine with that.
Well, and I think that's a good segue into talking about the set overall.
Well, no, I think I want to just touch on the locations
the bases.
first.
That's true. Yes.
As you know, all Smash plays come with bases.
It was a bad segue.
It was a bad segue. There's always 8 because usually there's 2 that usually refer to each group. In most cases, they either usually are specific to the group, like there's the Plateaus of Lang, which are first time a minion is played here, you can play an extra minion of the same name there. Who's that for?
Right.
However, there's also ones that are meant to counter, like there's one that says you can only play 1 minion a turn or something.
I like the one that is, I think it's Real or whatever. Or maybe, I don't know who it is, but whoever, no, it's not that one's different.
Okay.
Whoever scores it gets to get rid of all their madness cards if they want.
That is the university.
Oh, the university, and it's 24 to score. So that's the one that, like, if that comes out and you're playing with madness, everyone's going to be killing each other to try and get.
Right. But now, that is a good segue now. And I think this is where the biggest issue arises with this set, is the madness.
Yeah, well, it makes it very unique and very, it's very interesting in that way because it's different from all the other sets and it adds a whole other mechanic to think about, which is cool.
Right.
And I like that they tried that. But at the same time, as we've said in the past, it makes it harder to integrate with the rest of the game.
Right. Like, for example, the one that you said you just love.
Right.
We've played games when no one's using a Cthulhu set, and that's the only way to get Madness cards. So when this comes out, everyone's like,
who cares?
Right.
We don't care about that.
So I think the biggest issue is, and I think plenty of games have it. Like I know Magic the Gathering has an issue. There was one set that had one specific keyword, nothing else had, and you're like, like it makes the cards so much worse.
Yeah.
Like if there's a way that other things could get Madness or bring Madness in to make it much more relevant.
And that's where the Elder Things and Minions of Cthulhu start to really annoy me. Is like if I have the university or whoever, I can sort of kind of mitigate that and deal with it. But if I'm like robots, dinosaurs, it's a lot harder for me to get rid of the madness. I have to just use it and get rid of it, and wasting my turn or whatever. So yeah, it definitely. I don't like. Usually we say if we're going to do Cthulhu, like
everyone has to have a Cthulhu thing.
Yeah, otherwise
because each one has a way to deal with madness in some.
Or at least use it or something along those lines, as opposed to just...
Because you could get rid of the madness on your own, but you're using up your action to give away the one madness card.
That's the other question. Like,
and odds are, if I am playing with the other thing, I'm giving you more than one madness around.
When do you think is the best time to, like, should I use this madness to get extra actions, or should I just get rid of it?
Well, remember, it's two
Once
madness. So if you have 5, you only lose 4. The big thing is you have to start keeping track of everyone else.
If you have 5 madness, you lose 2 points.
2 points, yeah, because you only goes
keep track of everyone else. Yeah.
Well, and you don't need the exact numbers. I don't think either of us would be able to do that. We'd probably lose track halfway through. But more of the general idea. If I'm playing like, okay, I know Jonathan has a lot of madness. I think I'm safe on drawing some and using it to do this.
Right.
But if you're like, I have a lot of madness and Jonathan's at 13 points already, I probably should start getting rid of him.
So you almost you have to start planning in advance to get over 15 if you want to win.
If you're
not going to discard them. And I guess that's another way to look at balancing it a little, is that usually everyone's getting sub madness. So in theory, it should balance out that like you're not the only one getting bogged down.
Right.
But if only one player's giving them out, then
no.
But
well,
yeah.
Overall, I do think it's a good set. I'm glad they threw it in. It works really fun when everyone's playing with them. But if one person, let's say only one person is the Elder Things, or something like that,
it's rough.
Or no one is, and then the Cthulhu bases. So I think the big thing for now is, while Madness obviously is Cthulhu based, and I love Cthulhu, I really think they need to find a way to somehow get other things to throw in Madness.
Yeah.
I think that's...
Or if I think it would be too hard, but if they could say like, well, in this case, substitute this word for a madness card or something, so they could like retroactively do it.
Well, that would work if they maybe also had another kind of card, so you could be like if there was because then it could be like drawing a card from one of the outside piles.
I mean, there are cards. Oh, I don't know. Is there anything? There's nothing from the other sets that lets you just get rid of a card, right? You can only discard.
No, because there's no reason to ever get rid of a card except for Madness.
Yeah, otherwise, it would be different if you could say, "Oh, I can get rid of any card. I could use it on that."
Right.
You can't do that. Yeah.
But that's the big issue. It's definitely, once again, I still love Smash Up, and this is. I think probably because I've just won with Elder Things so much, I've loved it. But no, the Lurkers, I think for the Lurkers is where it really shines. Locals, wow.
Innsmouth
that group is so much fun to mix with the other ones because it works. It's so interesting. And I think out of all of them, it's the one you can mix in, even though I think there's a few cards that involve madness, where you won't feel guilty about being the only person with madness.
Yeah, I agree. I think when we first saw the Cthulhu set, we were kind of disappointed because it wasn't. We like variety.
Right, and it's because it's Smash Up.
Right.
And we're still waiting on our Cowboys.
Right. But now that there's like 4+ expansions out, it's like, oh, well, that's fine that there's one that's just Cthulhu.
Right.
And I do think the theme, they did it well. The art is cool. Is really cool.
I think the problem is they hit the theme target too well.
It's too scary.
No, it's not even too scary. It's just I think it's so distilled in this box that putting it in Smash Up can cause issues.
I actually do want to say though too, I think they hit the perfect mark of the balance between goofy and scary with the art. the artwork.
Oh my God, no! There's one.
It's really.
We'll put it up on screen.
They
I'm gonna
did a
find
great
it.
job. Like it's not too gross, but it's not just cartoony.
It's
either.
just well, except for that one.
A little bit, but even that, it's
this one. No,
got a style.
This
to it.
card, I think, is it's this one. The artwork of this summoner who's running away from the Shogun. We'll put it up. It's just to me the funniest thing.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
No,
so I wouldn't. If you're a huge Cthulhu fan,
no question.
I wouldn't say this is the first Smash Up expansion you should buy.
No,
but it's not a bad buy.
I would actually, in terms of Smash Up expansions, I'd just go in order of the release.
Probably.
It's like but it's because in certain games, like Legendary or something, they had completely different rules, so you may be like, well, this set's really good, or like for understanding early on.
Smash Up are more.
Yeah, because the whole idea is you're supposed to just randomly choose. So.
Right.
Actually, I know what the second. There is one thing that should be bought out.
What's that?
But we'll talk later about it. Is the Big Geeky box.
Oh, right.
I think that should be your second purchase.
Interesting. That should come with other things. Anyway.
Right.
Anyway, as far as Cthulhu is concerned, overall, we recommend it. Although it has its issues, it's not a bad set.
No.
So let us know what you think of the Obligatory Cthulhu set. If you love it, hate it, which factions you like or don't like.
Maybe just like us, you've decided to ban certain factions.
Yeah. How you deal with madness cards. You can comment on this video or email us at rollforcrit@gmail.com.
And of course, there's also Twitter at rollforcrit and our personal Twitters.
They're on the screen if you're watching. I love those. And don't forget, you can check out our website, rollforcrit.com, where we sell this as well as all the other Smash Up expansions and the base and lots of other things.
But, of course, if you don't know what Smash Up is, we also have the video there where it shows us playing it as well as how to play.
Yeah, we will have the link to that in the description of this video as well. So thank you so much for watching. It's been great. I'm Jonathan Estes.
I'm Will Keeler, and this has been Roll for Crit Expansion.